Welcome everyone to the second video in the series of the Switchblade walkthroughs. Today we are going to be doing the walkthrough for Fortress. So last time obviously we spoke in depth a little bit about Sidewinder, and came to the conclusion that it's a very good 1v1 vehicle. So now we're gonna do the same thing for Fortress and see where its strengths and weaknesses lie. Obviously we're going to be doing it against the bots. If anyone else joins in, that's always a bonus. However, doing it against the bots will give us a good scope to be able to just kind of experiment with everything and just kind of show things off a little bit. So obviously we want to go Fortress, and for the second I'll just pick Flaming Blade just so that I can get around the map a little quicker if I need to. Don't want to lose to the bots at the end of the day. So yes, to begin with, the stats on Fortress. Damage, you're looking at a 4. That's a very high amount of damage. The only vehicles that have a higher damage per hit are the artillery. So as you can see, Fortress deals a lot of damage. Now its basic attack is the shotgun, which means it has a shorter attack range than say Safeguard or Foghog, which both have the cannons. So obviously bearing in mind with that, Fortress is not going to be very good at ranged engagements, so that may mean that you're better to use Fortress in more of a defensive situation. You can use Fortress aggressively, however you do need to rely on its barrier shield in order to be aggressive, because you don't have that speed to be able to kind of close the gap quick enough. Oh, we do have somebody joining. So yes, obviously we're going to have somebody against us, which is good. That will test out a few things. So what we're going to do is we'll leave the vehicles as they are and carry on. So yes, the flamethrower ability is probably one of the most used on Fortress, because it is again a short range ability. However, it does deal a serious amount of damage when you level it up. So a lot of people tend to level up the flamethrower quite a lot for when they're in close range engagements, so that they can not only attack with the flamethrower, but they can attack with the shotgun at the same time. Mix that with the barrier shield as well, means you're not taking any damage while you're dealing a serious amount of damage out. So that is the general rule of thumb with Fortress. We'll see whether we can get that into practice, and hopefully this game will go the right way. So going against another person, this may be a bit of a longer tutorial video, but it will be a good test to kind of show how people can kind of get around things. So first things first, if you go in Fortress, it is quite slow, as tanks do have like a medium speed range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock the shield first. I'm going to use the speed boost to get me into lane quicker, because as you saw in the lobby, Rico went Flaming Blade, which is most likely him going to be rushing to lane. So, okay, I've got Oscar here dealing, being a bit of a pleb, I think. So yeah, managed to push him away a bit. We've got Jaffaru pushing that right lane, the bots are in left lane. So yes, so with the barrier shield, it only appears on the rear of the vehicle. So just bear that in mind. So the best idea is to learn to drive the vehicle backwards, because you can then attack while blocking a lot of the damage. However, because I'm 1v3 or 4, it's turning out to be a bit of a difficult one. So I'm going to have to switch out quickly. I'll just use Flaming Blade on Rico, get rid of him. So that's there, sorry about the quiet part there, a little bit of try-harding. So yeah, basically had to switch out there because I don't want to end up dying in a defensive situation. So as you can see there, as Jafaru is playing Fortress as well, you have to kind of position that shield behind you, otherwise you're not going to be able, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. So you need to kind of learn to play backwards with Fortress. Now, obviously that's not easy for everyone. So just bear that in mind, because it's going to be an interesting situation, because you got to remember, yes, Fortress can deal a lot of damage, but it is vulnerable. It doesn't have the most health. Even at level, what are we on now, level 6, we've only got just shy of 1200 health, which is, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot. So you've got to be careful, because, like, for example, Sidewinder's shield, maximum damage that shield can cause is 1200 damage. So if you end up in a situation where Sidewinder's shield is fully engaged, then I'm afraid that's sayonara. So as you could see there, while I was attacking the tower, I did use the flamethrower. Now it is a little difficult to get used to. However, you can just about get the flamethrower to damage the tower, but you've got to position the vehicle sideways, right on the edge of the tower's border. That way you can deal extra damage when attacking the tower, for obvious reasons. Now, Rico has used his stone shield, but it's not going to do much because he's being attacked by the minions. My bots are in the right hand lane, and that's that, so we're okay there. Now, as you can see, the shotgun is amazing at taking out minions. So that's what makes it a really good defensive vehicle, at least in my opinion. I'm a defensive player, so naturally I'm going to say that it's good defensively. However, it does mean that if you're in a bit of a jam and you need to get rid of those minions, then you are in a prime position to be able to do that. So my bots have all decided to come bum rush this lane, so I'm going to rotate right, so that we don't end up getting split pushed. Someone's over here attacking. Oh, it's Rico. I'm going to heal up. Don't know what that was. He's rushing through the turret, which is not the brightest of ideas. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there. So yes, obviously there, I knew I could go engage heavier because I had the health advantage over the fighter. Now, that's not always the situation. As you can see, Jafaru is here, and I am kind of in a little sticky situation because oh no, the Fortress ult. We need to kind of block this because that Fortress ult is deadly. It's an automatic ability and it will destroy you given the chance. It is horribly strong. I will show you in a little bit. It's generally used in the community to be able to take out towers. It's very good at taking out objectives or one or two singular people. So that's always a tactic you can look at using it for. Although I have seen people use it defensively to warn people off. It does only last for a short amount of time, so there is that to bear in mind. Now, oh, hello. So we've got a fight here, Flaming Blade versus Flaming Blade. I do believe I'm winning that fight. Looks like he's going to go swap out, which is fine. So now that he's swapped out, we're going to use Flaming Blade right on top of him and finish him off. It's quite good to be able to read the enemy's behaviours. Like, I knew that he was going to swap out there because he's low on health. So being able to use that and then knowing that your second vehicle has its ability, like Flaming Blade or Kamikaze, or whichever second vehicle you're going to use, especially if it's aggressive, it will put you in a position to be able to really kind of take them out and just, you know, remove them from the game essentially. I am far enough ahead now that I don't really need to worry about Rico too much. I do need to keep an eye on that left lane because the bots are bum rushing this lane again. So we're going to quickly pick up some upgrades and we're going to shoot off again. This time we're going to rotate over to the left lane and hopefully what we're going to be able to do is use Fortress ult on the actual main base core. If not, we'll use it to take out a couple of people just so that we can show you what it can do. So I believe Fortress is on full health now, so we're going to swap out. There we go. I'm going to upgrade that. Oh, hello Cuthbert. Okay, so my vehicle did not want to go the way I wanted it to, but okay. Could be worse. Oh wow, the base core's already down. Jeez. Bots are really going ham for it today. So now, just for good measure, we're going to use Fortress ult here, take out Rico, as you can see, stupidly strong, and take out the core. So it is a very strong vehicle overall to be able to say, right, okay, this is, you know, an aggressive vehicle, this is what you're going to be able to do. Now obviously what that means is that you can play aggressive with it, like I say, however it does have more of a defensive role in a team environment. Although you do tend to find people use it as kind of a roaming tank, just because of that sheer damage at close range. And of course, the Fortress ult, it is just, it's kind of busted. It really does kind of change a game. It will, if the other team aren't paying attention or you manage to catch them off guard, then you will easily be able to take out at least 3 of them by the time they really manage to deal any damage. And if you're very good and you know how to use Fortress very well, then there are situations where you can use your flamethrower and your shield and you won't take any damage and you may even pick up a penta. So in some situations, you know, it's definitely worth experimenting with Fortress as kind of an aggressive vehicle depending on your playstyle. So yes, strengths are definitely the damage output, that's its strength. The fact that it's a tank so it can take more damage than most vehicles, that's a strength. Weaknesses are its mobility. It's not the quickest vehicle around the map, and its other weakness is probably its shield. You do rely on it quite heavily because of the lack of health, especially if you're in amongst like 2 or 3 people. You're going to be taking a serious amount of damage. Now the shield only lasts for, I think it's 7 seconds, so I believe you don't have a huge amount of time on that, so that passes to me as a weakness. So bearing that in mind, it's still one of the strongest vehicles in the roster and definitely worth experimenting with. So that's it for this video, and I will catch you in the next. Sayonara.